Welcome to the Power of Design podcast. My name is Jack Osa. I'm an architect, born and raised in Colombia, South America. Years ago, I migrated to the United States to follow my dreams. And today, I'm the founder and principal of Osa Studio, a multidisciplinary architectural design firm in Charlotte, North Carolina. In this podcast, we talk about design, business, creativity, and the inspiration we need to create an exciting and powerful built environment.
In this episode of the Power of Design podcast, Christianna Williams shares her journey in corporate real estate and explains how workplace strategy, office design, and business goals must align to create successful environments. Learn how companies are rethinking space, culture, and employee experience in a changing market. Discover how to make smarter real estate decisions that support long-term growth.
Christiana, welcome to the Power of Design podcast.
Thank you.
How are you today?
How do you know if my sound is good? Do I need to check?
Yeah, just go a little bit closer. And I'm looking at the waves here. That's good. Good.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Partner's wine.
That's right.
It's delicious.
It's delicious. Well, I'm excited to have you here, to talk about you, to learn more about what you do, your business, and looking forward to, in the future, keep working together.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do today? What's your current role?
Today, I am a principal at Cresa. We're a tenant rep only brokerage firm. We have about 55 offices nationwide or in North America.
Okay.
But my responsibility is to oversee the office brokerage side for the Carolinas with my business partner, Zach.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Augusta, Georgia, 706.
Nice.
And went to the University of Georgia. So really never considered leaving the state until I moved to Charlotte.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And where did you go to school?
Went to the University of Georgia.
For what? Yeah.
I studied finance there. Graduated from the Terry College of Business.
Oh.
Which is the best part of UGA campus-wise. It's like right across the street from downtown. So you just have to cross over the lawn and you can get a beer. It's pretty nice.
That's cool. And when did you decide to move to Charlotte?
I moved to Charlotte in 2011, in April of 2011, because my parents were like, you can't live on your sister's couch forever and you need to get a real job.
Yeah.
At the time, I was living in Atlanta. I wanted to do real estate out of college. I graduated in 2010. There were not a lot of real estate jobs.
Yep.
The recession was not great for the real estate market.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I had spent a year abroad in Madrid. So I knew I wanted to do that right after I graduated. So I was in Madrid for a year as a nanny. And then when I came back, I was hoping that the real estate market would be a little better, but it sure wasn't.
Right.
And so I think I was like a hostess at a barbecue restaurant for a little while. And I was just not really prepared for the real world. And with some tough love, my parents were like, you probably should make some moves. So I had a girlfriend whose fiance worked at Wells Fargo in Charlotte.
Okay.
And he helped me get a very entry-level position, which is what ultimately brought me to Charlotte. So I worked back office at Wells Fargo for a year or so, and actually really liked that job. It was very analytical. I was doing payables and receivables, but I hated the bank. It was that was not for me.
It was uptown here?
It was uptown, yeah. I started in the Duke Energy Center, which was a brand new building at the time. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. I was on the trading floor. And so I got kind of exposure to what the bank was doing there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, ooh, maybe I would just work my way up in the bank. So I moved from back office to middle office, which was a big promotion. Mm-hmm. And I was supporting commodity derivatives traders.
Wow.
Which will make your eyes glaze over.
Yeah. I have
they
no
were
idea
like,
what that is.
they were trading like soybean and natural gas and hog and corn futures for these like big organizations. And my job was to make sure that whatever the traders in Houston put into their little trading book, which was just a glorified Excel file at the time, flowed down to the bank's general ledger appropriately. And I really hated that job.
I know, but how do you do that? It's like a supercomputer.
I was basically, I was running macros, and I mean, my Excel skills, I feel like, are probably higher than most real estate brokers, just because I was forced to like go and fix bugs and macros and stuff. And so looking back, I don't regret my time there, but man, I had no control over my schedule when I was in middle office, because I wasn't allowed to leave until the book was closed out and like everything was leveled out. And almost always there was someone forgot to enter a trade or moved a decimal point, or like something manual error went wrong, and it would be like, $10 million off balance. And I'd have to call the trader, and he's at dinner with his family, and I had to wait for him to get back. And it was just a mess. Hopefully they don't do it like that anymore. Yeah. But I would come home crying all the time to my now husband, just like, I hate this freaking job, and this is not what I want to be doing. And he was like, well, you should talk to, some of my friends there in real estate. And so I did. I met with a bunch of people, and shout out Chris Schaff. He was the first person I met with, and introduced me to a bunch of other people. So I started doing the networking thing, and ultimately met Steve Gassaway, who is a great friend and mentor, and he hired me at what was then Cassidy Turley.
Wow.
In 2013-ish.
Yeah.
Cassidy Turley became DTZ about 3 months later.
Yeah.
And then about 6 months after that, we became Cushman & Wakefield.
Yes.
And I got married in between that. And so my LinkedIn profile was like off the charts for a while. People were like, are you okay? Keep like bouncing around.
Every week.
Yeah. My name changed. Then my company changed 3 times. And but all good. So I started at Cassidy Turley doing what I'm doing now, an office tenant representation. And that was working under Steve was, what really I think made me successful. He was just such a great mentor, and really taught me the ropes, and had these, sit down meetings with me once a week to make sure I knew what the heck I was doing. Because I didn't know anything about brokerage at the time. I had just taken a real estate finance class in college and was like, oh, this is so cool. This is how all my, finance theories and equations that I'm doing on my exams like actually translate into the real world. So it was a great kind of segue, and that's how I got to where I am now. I spent about 10 years at Cushman, and then almost 5 years ago, it'll be 5 years in December, that I joined Cresa.
Wow, that's awesome. It's good to find something that you realize, okay, this is for me. This is what I need to do.
Yes.
And not a lot of people experience that.
No, I think I definitely needed to work at the bank to realize that sitting in front of a computer screen for 8 hours was not my highest and best use.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of energy from interacting with people and solving problems, and I get to do that every day. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a commercial real estate broker, that I have a lot of friends that are, is very similar at having your own business.
Yes.
Because you need to work for it. It's
Eat
not
what
free.
You kill.
Yeah. It's not a paycheck that is coming whether you perform or not.
That's right.
You have to earn it every single day.
Yeah. I mean, there are days when I'm like, the day goes by so fast because I've just got, a lot going on, or I'll have a tour in the morning, and then I get proposals and stuff out. And then there's other days where there is like virtually nothing on my calendar. And so it's BD all day.
Yes.
And like, I don't care who you are, but anybody who sits in front of a computer or a phone and makes cold calls all day and says they love it is lying.
Yes.
So it's those days happen, and I, try to stay disciplined and, block out time, because I don't love that part of my job. I love like networking and meeting people. And I feel like that's how a lot of my business kind of gets developed.
Yeah.
The cold calling and cold emails and stuff are part of it. But man, it's not my favorite part. So
it's hard. You know, when I receive a cold call, I cannot respect that, and I just listen to them.
Zach does that too.
Yeah, I'm like, that's really hard to do.
Yes, Zach always takes a cold call, and I'm like, he's a better person than me. I'm like, although I got hooked by a guy at what's the name of the clother here? Tom Jones. I can't even remember.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's like a custom clother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I walked into my office one morning and I had there was like an envelope with my name on it under the door.
Yeah.
I picked it up. I was like one of the first people in the office. So I picked it up, has my name on it. I open it up and there's a crinkled up piece of notebook paper in there. And I was like, hey, Christiana, I went ahead and crumpled this up so it was faster to throw in the trash. But I'm so-and-so and I'm hoping to meet with you about like custom clothes or something. And I was like, that took effort
and some creativity. That's creativity, innovation.
Totally.
Yeah, and you appreciate that. That's a huge business and branding lesson.
Yes. Yeah.
Make yourself,
what's the story?
Yeah, be different.
Yes.
You don't have to be better. You don't have to be more. You just have to be different enough that is recognizable. You're like, okay, this is different. Why is this? You want to meet with that person.
Yeah, and I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he made the sale.
Yeah. I read a marketing book years ago when one of the stories the guy had in there was he wanted to do work for a car company, marketing, things like that. And his strategy, he started mailing them parts of cars like every month. Like,
that must have been expensive.
Yeah, it was like a light. And next month, a tire. Then another part, like pieces. And then he showed up months later. Who's sending you this? Well, we're a marketing agency. And they're like, oh, yeah. And he got the business. It was like huge business that changed the trajectory of everything he was doing because of the creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that.
There was a guy, we just had our like Cresa sales meeting, kind of rah. Everybody comes together and we kind of do a year in review and, what's coming on the horizon. And we just had that a couple weeks ago in Fort Lauderdale. And the closing ceremony speaker, I've forgotten his name. I actually missed it, but we were talking about it in my sales meeting this morning. He had a marketing background and hopefully I get this story right. I thought it was really cool though. They were pitching business and there was like this big marketing agency for, it was for the like London train system or something. And sorry, Scott, if I'm getting any of this wrong, but the train system was filthy. It was always running late. It was not a good experience. And they were trying to hire a PR firm to like help them with, reposition the brand. And this guy, is like a no-name kind of single shingle guy. They show up at his office. He makes them wait outside in the rain for 5 or 6 minutes. They're getting frustrated. The receptionist finally opens the door. She doesn't offer any coffee or anything like that. They come in, they sit down, they're in the waiting room. There's like dirty ashtrays, cigarettes everywhere. It's just like gross.
Yes.
And they get up to leave because they're having such a horrible experience. And the guy comes out of his office. He's like, now you know what it feels like to be a rider on your train.
Wow.
And they were like, what? And of course he like wins the business and it like changes his life and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you got to be different.
That's right.
And the point was, you have to make someone feel an emotion.
100%.
And I think that's a really hard part, especially in a somewhat commoditized industry that we're in. I have and same with you. I mean, lots of competitors, and we're all sort of doing the same thing. And we all have the technology, we all have the research. Some's better than others, so it's all. But it's all like
Yeah, we all do a decent job, as long as you do
Yes.
it, you do a good job and you're responsible. Yeah.
So how do
That's
you
not-
differentiate yourself?
That's right.
It's like, how do you
That's the
give a
key. Have
person
you
a
watched
feeling?
that video of it's probably 15 years old from Simon Sinek, the why, how, and who?
No.
So
but I
it's,
should.
it's called
I brought
the,
a notebook. I can
it's
write
called
that down.
it's called the golden circle. So it's 3
I've
circles.
I've for sure heard
it's
of
one
that.
inside the other. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
outside circle is what? That's what it is. So what do you do? Okay, I design buildings, or I can help you find your space. I'm a broker. Okay, every company does that. And then the next level is, okay, how you do it.
Yeah.
Some people, I do it with technology, I do it by hand, I do this. Okay, then you start differentiating a little bit.
Right.
Because you, not everybody does it the same. And the last one is why? Why do you do this?
Yeah.
And that's the real reason.
Yeah.
So,
also the hardest one to answer.
right. So the problem is when we're selling what? We shouldn't be selling what? We should be selling why. Mm-hmm. Because that's what's different.
Yeah.
But it's hard because our instinct is, yeah, I do this. I design this building and this. Yeah, they're all saying the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. So how has been your progression since you joined Cresa? What were your first kind of tasks and what are you doing today?
Well, when we first came over, so I joined the firm with Zach McLaren, who's my business partner. He and I have been working together for a long time at Cushman, and now we are 50-50 partners. And the whole thesis for going to Cresa is to kind of create our own team and create our own destiny. And one of the kind of key goals was to do bigger and better deals, just more sophisticated clients, bigger accounts.
Yeah.
And by having, jurisdiction over North and South Carolina and it's a smaller firm, we felt like, we could really kind of spread our wings.
Yeah.
So the focus has very much been on portfolio accounts. So accounts that are maybe based in the Southeast, but they have lots of locations. And so we're the single point of contact. And so theoretically you win one account, but you have maybe 50 deals to work on or, 150 and stuff like that. So that's been a big focus.
Nice.
The Cresa platform has been wonderful for that because we're occupier only. So everything that the firm does, all the investments that they make are solely for the occupier, whereas some of our competitors, CBRE, for example, like the vast majority, 90+% of their business is their revenue comes from landlord type of work or institutional ownership type of work, landlord leasing, capital markets, property management, facilities management, all that stuff. So the technology stack and all the investment that Cresa has done has given us tools to make our jobs easier and to make our clients better able to make a decision.
Yeah.
And so that's been really, really helpful.
Nice.
But the way that it's changed, I guess I'm a principal of the firm now, and so there's some ownership there, which also is a very different experience than I had, working for a Cushman & Wakefield, where it's a 80,000 person firm. We're 5,000 people.
Yeah.
So just the access to leadership and access to sort of the inner workings and the goals of the firm. Everybody is really rowing in the same direction. It's very easy to get a response on XYZ. And so we can just move a little faster and just be a lot more nimble for our clients.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And that makes a lot of sense. As you progress with your career, sometimes more structure is not the solution. Or I feel that sometimes you just need to say, all right, I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to this company, and you just stay there and make it work.
Yeah.
But a smaller, more nimble experience, it's awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like a little work family.
Yeah.
There's a Cresa band, which might be my very favorite thing about Cresa. At the spring meeting, there are literally 6 or 7 people, and it's not always the same 6 or 7 people. I would say there's probably 4 that are pretty consistently up there. But they come together once a year. They don't practice together.
Oh my gosh.
They know what songs they're going to sing. They practice on the road, and then they have like a quick, sound check before they go on, and then they like rock out for like 4 or 5 songs, and it is so cool.
That is amazing.
So the culture is unlike anything I've ever experienced, and that makes it really fun. And then in our office in Charlotte, there's 8 of us, and we're just like a close little family.
Yeah, I know.
Or at least I feel that way.
Yeah.
They might not all feel that way. But
sure, because the number could be 5,000 in total, but every single day is just with a small number of people.
Yeah, and you spend so much time with, the people that you work with. Mm-hmm. So I think, enjoying their company is very important, and
very important.
Having trust in that everybody's got your back and rowing in the same direction, wanting the same things
That's right. And then, you bring people come and go. Sometimes people are crazy and you find out 6 months later.
Yes.
That happens.
It does happen. Yeah. It sure does. Yeah.
Cool. So what's like a typical day for you?
Ooh, a typical day?
Yeah.
There isn't one. I would say there are typical days. So like I'll have tour days.
Yeah.
So if I have a tour that day, obviously there's some preparation before it. So I'm making sure that the tour book looks presentable, and we've got a great client coordinator who helps, put that together for our clients, but making sure that that's ready for them. And then, scheduling the tour, and it could be a 3-site tour. It could be a 10-site tour. We try to keep it less than anything more than 10 is like people just don't remember and starts to run together. And you probably haven't done a good enough job understanding what the client's requirement is. Especially in the Charlotte market, there's just such little quality product on the market right now. So we drive around or we walk around for a couple hours looking at office space and checking out amenities and trying to understand, like, it's doing a tour really helps zero in on like what's important to a client. Is it like how the lobby feels? Is it where they are on the floor? They have to have this like double door entry off the elevator lobby, or they don't care what the building looks like. They just want to be able to walk to lunch with their team and grab a beer afterwards.
Yep.
So like all those kind of details you start to kind of pick up on, is natural light really important to them, or is it not really important to them? And for the most part, it's important, but you'd be surprised by how often, somebody, you walk into a space and you're like, ooh, uh-oh. And they're like, I love it. This could work. You're like, okay.
Sure.
Great. So a tour day is, I'm out of the office a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe half the day or so it takes, depending on where we are. And then come back and kind of do the debrief and make sure all my notes are up to date. And then we, go and on to the next step, which would be whatever their short list is, starting to refine what a proposal would look like for the buildings that they like the best, and get those out. So those are kind of tour days. Non-tour days, which I would say I have maybe like a tour a week or so.
Yeah.
If it's really busy. Everything seems to go like in cycles. So like we'll have 5 or 6 tours over, a 1-month period. And then all of those tours have happened, and now we're like negotiating those deals. And so then I'm not really out in the market much. And then those deals kind of close, and then it's like another round of tours.
Yeah.
And so for some reason, and then they all kind of close at the same time. And then it's like back to the BD. And so it's hard to make sure I'm kind of inserting the BD time into my days. I do a lot of networking, and that's how I kind of prefer to do business development. So I'm a member of a couple different organizations, and spend time developing relationships there and kind of trying to get outside of the industry a little bit and open the network up to, different ways. I'm really involved in a nonprofit called Heart Math Tutoring.
Oh, cool.
Have you ever heard of them?
Nope.
Oh, you should. There's lots of schools nearby where they need tutors, but basically they help they go into public schools where there are students like below grade level in math, and they pair them with volunteer tutors and help them. And it's like a 1 hour a week commitment from the tutor, the volunteer. All of the materials are there for you. There's an administrator who's helping you, get your student and kind of get settled. And then you tutor 1 or 2 students a week and help them. And they do that all across the county. Now they've expanded into Winston-Salem and Charleston. And Emily Gaffney, who's the executive director, was actually like one of my very first clients. So that's been a really fun ride. Cool. I had never heard of this organization before. She called on a sublease that I had. And I was like, this is 10 or 12 years ago. I was like brand new in the industry. Yeah. She was looking for like 1,000 square feet. She called a sublease. It wasn't going to work for her. And I was, I can help you find any space in Charlotte. Sure, yeah. And so then she's my age. And so we've sort of like grown up together. Our kids are kind of born around the same time. That's and so cool. She's become a good friend and has just grown that organization into something really special. So I spend a lot of time doing that and love that.
The Power of Design podcast is brought to you by Osa Studio, a multidisciplinary design firm focused on creating impactful experiences through the power of design. We partner with our clients to create buildings, interior spaces, brands, and strategies that help you deliver a successful project. As a minority-owned firm, we are committed to building a diverse platform of curious and driven design professionals so we can together pursue our full potential. For more information, please visit us at www.osastudio.com.
What's the vision you guys have in your mind for like the next 5 years?
The next 5 years?
Yeah.
Gosh, good question. Bigger and better. Mm-hmm. I think we'd love to grow the team in all industry or in all verticals. So industrial, retail, office. We need to expand our footprint. We don't have a Raleigh office right now, so that's definitely in the next 5 years we need to have a Raleigh office.
Where is the closest office? Atlanta?
Atlanta, yeah, probably. Yeah, Richmond. We just got a Richmond office. So just continue to grow our business, bring on new brokers. I get a lot of energy from mentoring and kind of teaching. Yeah. So it's been fun. We brought on another broker, Parker Levy, in our office a couple of years ago, and he is just like taken off. Nice. And that's awesome to watch. And not to be condescending, but I think it's just like, it's really fun to go pursue business with him and see how successful he's getting and encouraging all that.
What do you think are the characteristics of a great broker?
Characteristics of a great broker. I think you have to have a lot of grit. Mm-hmm. Like, there are even times where someone will, hang up on me, or like I'll get a really nasty response from an email, and I'm like, I'm just trying to help, bro. I'm not here to hurt you. Yes. Or, so being able to like brush that off and sort of not take it personally. I still have to like take a lap every once in a while. Sure. And then there's some tense moments in negotiations where, I think someone's being unreasonable and they think I'm being unreasonable, and we have to sort of duke it out. And I will say that I think the Charlotte market, the brokerage community is very respectful of one another. I mean, for the most part, I think I work very well with my counterparts. But there are some times where I have to like pick up the phone and, apologize for, getting a little sassy or something like that. But I think grit's probably one of the most important. Work ethic, really important, being a self-motivator, because there's no one sitting behind me being like, you haven't made all of your calls today, or like, you didn't do this deal right. So I think that's, something that is important. And I think I've sort of always had that in me. I did gymnastics my entire life. And I think with that sport just comes grit and work ethic and this like internal motivation, because it's not really a team sport until you get to college. And so that I think kind of set me up for the life that I'm living today.
That's good, because those skills are important.
Yeah.
I told you my daughter, she did gymnastics for like 6 years. She's 14 now.
Yeah.
And she's very disciplined. She's organized. She has structure. Like, she set a standard, and it's her standard, and she's always living up to that standard.
Yes.
And I think the gymnastics got a lot of that, because it was, 4 hours, 4 days a week in there, and non-stop.
Yes. And it's time management too, right? Like you're in the gym 5 days a week, 4 hours a day. You got to get your homework done. You want to see your friends, so you want to hang out with them on the weekends. Like, you got to get your shit done. So yeah, I think that I don't talk about gymnastics much anymore. People always ask like, "Oh, does your daughter do gymnastics?" Like, no, I don't know if I want her to do it. And it's such a crazy like question in my mind whether or not like she should do it. She would be a great little gymnast. I mean, she's petite and fearless and strong, and she's got all the ingredients, but it was a big sacrifice, like growing up. I mean, but it was also a huge blessing. So I think that's probably every sport these days, like how intense youth sports are in this day and age. I think when I was growing up, certainly in my friend group, I was the only one going to a practice 4 days a week. That's probably way more prevalent now.
Yeah.
But I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, that's great for a broker.
Yeah.
What else?
Time management. I mean, I think you also have to know when to stop. I mean, certainly the goal is to get the best possible deal for your client.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that they get what they want.
Yeah.
With that also means like, know when to fucking stop, because you don't want to blow up the deal over 50 cents a foot, which is a drop in the bucket for them. And there's like, especially in this market, which is a fairly recent thing since COVID, like you're competing for space now. Yeah. And so if your client doesn't, maybe the credit's the same, or they don't have as great a credit as this other prospect, then that's like, it's a little bit of this like cat and mouse thing where like, is the landlord broker being serious? Are they just like, F it around? So you kind of have to like be able to say and coach your client on it's okay not to win in every single box. This is a great deal. This is where you guys want to be. So you kind of have to coach them a little bit too. So I think
give them
being able to coach and, give bad news in a way that is received well, I think is an important skill, and to be able to like set expectations.
How about patience?
Patience, which is actually not one of my strengths. Time kills all deals. That's like the number one broker role.
My friend Henry Cresa always says that.
Yes, I just talked to Henry for the first time in years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I saw him a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he and I are good friends. Yeah, he's amazing. But he always reminds me, man, time kills all this. And when I'm working with him, it's one after the other.
Yeah.
Text, call, come on, let's do it. Like, let's do it. I like that pace.
Yes. Yeah. It's also difficult when you don't have a lot of patience to go at the pace that your client is going.
Yes.
For a million different reasons, like you don't want to lose the deal, or that like their lease expiration date's coming up and they think they've got all this time, but really it's going to take them a year to build it out. And, yes. So
and what else is out there? Like you have no options, that changes everything. If you have options,
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of kicking the can going on right now in our industry on the office side, just because there's not a lot of great space out there.
Yeah.
And if you want great space, you'll probably have to build it.
Yeah.
And building it is really expensive.
Yeah.
And takes a long, long time.
Yeah.
So if you have not started the process 12 months before you need to have your butt in the seat, you're in trouble.
Yeah, setting those expectations. In my world, it's understanding, we do the design, we do the drawings, the permitting, but this is just one step to getting a price, go build it, go permit it. That's the bulk of the work.
Yeah.
Like the big bucket is construction. Design is going to be 5, maybe 10% of your budget. So I always
But it's so important.
Oh, yeah. And I always start asking people, do you have a construction cost budget? At least, have you thought about that? Because that's where it starts. And when do you you want this ready? Because those two expectations are the big ones that if they're completely unrealistic, I need to tell them. And sometimes it dies there.
Yeah.
Right?
The unfortunate thing is the expectations, even if like building a space for $90 a foot now is
paint and carpet.
Right.
Yeah.
But like that seems like a pretty reasonable number, right? Like $90 a foot to build out a 5,000 foot space.
Maybe 5 or more years ago, yes.
Yeah.
Now, my middle point is 200.
With furniture and like all the furniture and fixtures.
No, without furniture.
So who was I talking to last week? Furniture, they're pricing like $65 a foot now. I've been using 25 for like the last 10 years.
Furniture, you know how I calculated? 5,000 per seat based on the test fit.
Oh, okay. 5,000 per seat?
Yeah, and that kind of averages the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's important. So I use 200 when it's higher end. But I see 150 to 200.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But for somebody who hasn't done this in 10 years...
That's right. They're like, what?
10 years ago, the landlord built the space out for him for $40 a foot.
That's right.
Turnkeyed it. They didn't even have to,
Yes.
And now they're like, sorry, what?
Yeah, the numbers.
The $200 a foot. And
construction costs double in 6-5 years. And then they think you're going to do the plans in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And permitting is like 8 weeks. Sometimes with permitting, I feel that how my client is going to receive this information, because permitting takes a long time. They make mistakes. There are all these excuses. And I'm just telling to a client, they said this. I'm like, they're not going to believe me.
So what are the characteristics of a good architect?
Oh,
it's probably a lot of the similar things.
Yeah, very similar, because we're doing the same. We're selling a professional service. So, adding value, showing. But I think now talking about, the architecture profession, I think one is really understanding what the client wants, right? Yes. Not having their own design agenda. Mm-hmm. You have your own things that you like, but really putting yourself in the shoes of the client, which I think a lot of architects don't do that. And it starts with, okay, I have this amount of money. I want to make the most out of this money. How do I do it?
Yeah.
Right? And then being responsible, understanding, okay, what do you want? So I'm going to design something that when I show you, I'm taking into consideration how much do you have.
Yeah.
I'm not just designing something that looks cool, but it's double your budget.
Right.
So talking about money.
Upfront.
Upfront and understanding. So, okay, you don't have a construction cost budget? Okay, based on my experience, there's like 150 or this. So let's throw a number and let's start with that.
Yeah.
So understanding the numbers as well. And then it's a person that, I think during the process is same like you guys, communication, proactive. If there are issues, bring it up, bring the bad news. That's all kind
phone
of the
call.
sentence. Yeah.
With the bad news.
Communicate.
You cannot send bad news.
Communicate.
Via email.
Yeah.
Or email, immediately pick up the phone.
Yes. And then during construction, that's where we can add a lot of value. And that's one of the things, for example, we are very involved in the construction phase because the contractor is trying to do their best. The plans are never perfect. There are always issues. There are always things. Most architects, they charge very low, but in construction, you don't hear about them. In CA, they disappear.
Oh.
Yeah. And when we're doing it, we're on the phone all the time, 3-4 times a week. We're texting with the superintendent because that's the decision. One is going to impact the final product.
Yeah.
They need the answers fast.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of issues that come up, especially in existing conditions, inspectors, or there's this unknown. So I would say that's the other one. It's an architect that it's with the client, really understanding from day one until the last day.
Yeah.
Just looking at, I always think, if this was my project, how will I use this money?
Yeah.
And I said, this, or you have these two options. You can do this or you can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I always like to have a solution or a potential solution if I have to give bad news.
Yes.
Like, this upfit's going to be $200 a foot, and we're only going to get 90 from the landlord. So you can either come out of pocket 110 or we can go to this nice spec suite over here and it's more expensive, but you don't have to spend whatever.
Yeah.
$1 million out of pocket.
Yeah.
But I do try and, like, before I give bad news, try and think through, like, all right, don't just like dump the bad news on them. Maybe we can try and work the problem at the same time.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest or most common problem with architects?
I don't know. I mean, you guys do a pretty good job most of the time. I think there is a disconnect between, like, when a tenant gets a test fit.
Yep.
Right after they tour, they like the space. Okay, we need to add 4 more offices.
Okay.
So they get a test fit done.
Yes.
We send that out to get general budget pricing.
Yeah.
I think what gets lost is you get that budget pricing back from just like a tiny little test fit with like no pricing notes.
Yeah.
And they have this number. And then the architect comes in with whatever finishes, building standard finishes or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like, your budget's totally blown.
Yes.
And sometimes that message gets lost. We have made that mistake once or twice. And so now we're very clear up front, like, this is just a test fit. Pricing notes will come a little later when we, like, narrow down the sites.
Right.
And it could, like, substantially impact the cost based on what kind of finishes you guys want.
Yeah, I think the problem is right there. A test fit is a test fit. A pricing set is a pricing set. They're not the same thing.
No.
So using a test fit for a pricing set, can it be done? Absolutely. But the margin of error is like 50%.
Yes.
Because you're trying to do something way ahead of the solving the problem without even having the conversation with the client. What do you want? What kind of level? What about this? What about that?
Yeah. I think what we struggle with is it's difficult to get our clients to pay for architecture fees for like the pricing notes and like the actual design fees before they've made a decision, before a lease is signed, for example. That's a lot of risk.
Yeah.
Before, like, they may, the deal might blow up and then they've just like, so a lot of times the landlord will cover the price of the test fit.
Yeah.
But there's still this like big gap between.
It is a gap because it's that communication between the contractor and the architect.
Yeah, it's a chicken and an egg scenario a little bit. It's
That's
kind
right.
of unfair for all parties.
For all parties, because basically it's, no, I don't want to lose. No, I don't want to lose. I don't want to risk. I don't want to risk. And they're send it to the other and to the other one.
Right. And so you kind of do the best you can with the pricing, and, maybe you give them some high level finish scope, building standard, or we want glass or whatever. But even still, like, where we get really frustrated is we'll send it out for pricing just to like know how to negotiate the TI or free rent, like the economic terms of the transaction.
Yeah.
We just need like a ballpark number.
Yeah.
And then we the lease gets signed, and that's when like CDs and like all of the real design happens. Well, the lease has already been signed.
Yes.
And if the budget's now doubled,
yeah,
the tenant's like, WTF? Like, I thought this was only going to be $90 a foot. You're telling me it's $200 a foot? Right. Like, what happened? And it's like, well, you wanted to sign the lease before you pay the design fees, and I get that, but there's...
But that, that's why I use $200 square foot.
Yeah.
It's going to work because I've seen it recently in my own projects.
There's just not a lot of...
Is it high-end? Sure. But what if it comes at 150? They're going to be happy. 125 happy. So some people get scared because maybe overkill with 200, but I think it's safer than going lower.
For sure. You want to overshoot than undershoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's just a re-education for a lot of tenants who are coming off 10-year leases or even 5-year leases. Like they did their deal, in the middle of COVID or pre-COVID.
Yeah.
They have never been in an environment where they've had to come out of pocket with their own money for construction of a space that they don't own.
Yes.
And for a tenant, that is just like, there's a mental block.
Yes.
So you sort of have to frame it like, all right, can we bake in this?
Yes.
Can we bake it into the rate? Like just pay a higher rate and you sort of pay it over time, or you're like that puzzle has not quite been solved.
But why do you think it hasn't been solved? Because these transactions have been happening for decades. And you always have the same scenario. You have a tenant, you have a landlord, you have budget, you have construction. Every time is the same scenario. Why haven't we solved?
Well, I don't think. Well, but I think the construction pricing in today's environment is so significantly higher than where the landlord has underwritten the construction for that same space for the building. And so the rate is not reflective of the cost that the landlord has to, spend.
Yes.
So now there's this tenant out of pocket where that didn't really exist quite so much before. I mean, some tenants have always paid out of pocket for, their FF&E or whatever, but for the hard construction, for a tenant to have to pay half of the hard construction costs, I think that's at least in my business, that's a fairly new problem.
Yes.
And I don't know that to make that problem go away, rates just have to continue to escalate, which they are doing. I mean, I think rates are coming up. And so now you're seeing much higher TIs. I mean, you'll get $120 on a 10-year deal on some buildings, no problem. But that's still not going to cover it.
Yeah.
Where that's, unless you're a law firm building out 50 offices, that didn't really happen before.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's changing. The cost is changing. Mm-hmm. Now with the gas prices, any construction material needs gas to be transported. So, or of course, it's going to be more expensive.
We're trying to do a kitchen remodel at my house.
Yeah.
And like part of I was asking a question about, contingency or like how the general conditions kind of get locked in, and the gas prices was a factor in that. Like, man, changes that fast.
That's right. But going back to my question, that's not an architect's problem. That's not an architect's problem. So that's the industry. So.
Yeah. No, your original question was
that the
about
biggest
architects.
issue with architects. Yeah, the main thing is like, wish we didn't have architects, like they always do this or whatever.
I really have never thought that before.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. We
I
appreciate it.
I am not. I'm not the left side of the brain or the right, whichever one's responsible for creativity like that is not my forte.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for the architecture industry.
Good, thank you. No, I think it's probably contractors. There's some contractors that think they rather don't deal with architects because they think that they're building it, that we're just kind of drawing it, like they're doing the real thing.
No.
But it needs to happen. It needs to happen. When
Yeah.
somebody needs to think about it. No, somebody needs to solve it in their mind, and then somebody go do it physically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just kind of like wing it.
No, you can, but the results will be bad.
Will be bad. Yes. Accurate.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. So I have one last question for you.
Okay.
And it's, do you have a question for me?
Oh, do I have a question for you?
Yeah.
What keeps you up at night about the future of your industry and like AI? I mean, you guys are implementing AI like crazy in your workflow already, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about ChatGPT doing renderings earlier, like how do you see that changing at least some aspects of your business, and what are you guys doing? What are you doing to prepare for that?
So when I look at what I do, and I told you at the beginning that I love what I do. I love being an architect. I love doing what I do, which I feel is my responsibility in society. Like my role is to think about spaces for other humans to perform life and have experience that is functional and beautiful. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
So I do that with any material, process, or whatever is available in that time. At that time, right now, it happens to be a computer, Revit, and walls and these things, and perfect. I use those tools. Probably technology. If technology changes the tools, all right, I'll use that other tool. I'm still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
To me, one of the first things that may happen with construction, I don't say architecture because to me construction is different than architecture. Architecture is when you have an architect involved and thought about it.
Yeah.
Not like production, massive things without thinking. Okay. To me, Tesla, Google, Apple, all these companies, all they're going to come up with a product that is going to be a house first. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to make it bigger and they're going to do, mass production, and it's going to be a catalog, just incredible mass production of space, which is like, let's say McDonald's. Like you produce a lot of things that, maybe a lot of people, they don't go hungry because McDonald's exists because it's so cheap.
Right.
So you're kind of helping, but at the same time, you're degrading something, the food. Quality of space, the food, the nutrients, like there's a trade-off all the time. So that's going to be a trend. All that.
Okay.
Yeah, but then there's going to be a trend where you probably have more money or you're interested in something more unique, custom. Now you need a person. It's going to be now, and for a machine to think about that, I think it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I thought about is, and I watched a video about this last week, it's AI is revealing a big, I will say, issue we have humans with architecture, which is we started thinking that architecture is what we see, right? The aesthetic portion, and of course architecture has aesthetic value, right? And it has style, and it could look classic, it could look modern, it could look all this, and you can attach a lot of things to it. But what architecture really is a space. It's void space where humans perform life and do things.
Yep.
And to create that, you need to understand, what we was talking about when I was talking about a good architect, the client relationship, understand the client communication, understanding construction, how does it work, how do you build this, understand your budget. Let me design to your budget. Let me do this. How do I create this experience that is beautiful? And I know that is beautiful because I'm another human.
Right. You can physically be in the space.
Right.
Yeah, AI is never going to be able to do that.
So that's never going to happen. Now, the tools will be amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what the tool will be, but I'll be using the tool. And I think that's the case for every single thing. But I think that goes back to the what, how, and why.
Yeah.
You really need to know why, because if you stay in the what,
you're McDonald's.
That's right. That's right. That you're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much, Christiana, for stopping.
That was easy. That was fun.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. I got to finish my wine.
Oh, yeah. We can keep talking here. And thank you for sharing your story and your time. And I look forward to staying in touch.
Hopefully I didn't bore you to tears.
No, so far so good. Thanks. Thank you for listening to the Power of Design podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review if you like this content. And find us online at thepowerofdesignpodcast.com. I invite you to join my mission to become a better version of yourself through the power of design.